Like girls, and the attraction was more than friendship. So we went on vacation. We planned for her to come, but stay at a different location. My mother and my aunt and my father didn't know that this person was there, and she was literally like 20 minutes away from where we were staying at the time. So she sent me a text message that she realized in coming here that this might have been not the smartest idea. So I try to convince her this is not the perfect time because my parents aren't ready. My dad will freak out, and my mom did say she'll bury me alive. So can we just have a good vacation? And after vacation, we can speak to them. And if they accept it, they accept it. And if they don't, they don't. But it needs to be, our kind of thing. And she was like, you know what? We've been together long enough. It's been 8 months. So you can either tell them or I'm done, I'm leaving. Because they were under the assumption that this is a friend, a platonic friend who's had sleepovers and everything. So at that point, I guess that I was like, I have to choose. It was my first girlfriend, like ever, like first experience with everything. So it was like, I don't want to lose this person. Like she's amazing and she understands me more than anybody at the time around me. And I don't have to fake being who I am around her. I don't have to pretend that I don't like certain things because it might upset some people in our lives at the time. So my mom and my aunt was getting ready for the beach, and I packed my bags. I was ready, to go. And because my mom has made a joke a year prior that if any of her children is ever gay, that she would bury them alive. And so I was afraid. I love my mom, and her twin sister is sitting right next to her. My dad isn't there. So I come and I roll my suitcase and I put it right in the passageway and I walk out. And I sit down and I say to my mom, can I quickly speak to you? And my auntie Laura is like, I'm staying though. I'm not going to get up. I'm comfortable where I'm sitting. So I said, well, I just want to say that I don't know if I'm gay or if I'm straight, but I have a girlfriend, which I like very much. And she is here. She came from Portugal. She's just living at the hotel. So I'm going to go. I'll speak to you guys later. And I left. Went to go tell her. I told my parents, I don't know how they're going to react. They're probably going to kick me out, but I've made a decision. My mom texted me and said, can you please come back so that we can have a proper conversation because your dad's here. And at that point, my heart is like, like it's about to go down. It's about to be crazy, but am I losing my family? Like, what's going to happen? I know my sisters support me because they knew. And my mom also said in the text message, bring Tanya with. So Tanya comes with me back. And, as we walked through the door, she held my hand for support. And I kind of like, that where you try to take your hand away. But in that moment, you were so nervous. When I saw my dad, I kind of just held on to her. And we came in and I was shaking, my palms were sweating, nothing. I literally felt like I was losing my family, but my heart was in my throat. It didn't feel comfortable. And my mom said, sit down. And my mom asked, do you want something to drink? And in that moment, I was like, okay, at least my mom is still being a Christian and being polite. And my dad kind of gave me a hug from behind and said, I've always known. Don't worry. Me and your mom just want to have a conversation. And he, sorry, he sat down and he sat down next to my mom and she just said to me that no matter what you choose to do and no matter how you choose to live your life, we're still your parents. And I don't understand this at all. Your dad might have a little more comprehension because of his sister, but I'm willing to learn because I love you. You're my daughter, and I've known Tanya for a long time. But no more sleepovers. But just I don't hate you. I love you, and she can't stay at hotel. There's an extra room here. She needs to get her stuff and be here. And when we get back home, we can talk more if you want to talk more. But regardless of how you perceive things, I love you. You're my daughter. But my dad always knew. He always knew. So that was a little bit comforting. But yeah, so that was me coming out to my parents. I was like this, and it was just not a comfortable situation.
Thank you so much, Queen Bella, for sharing that beautiful story. And I'm glad it had a happy ending to it. That your parents were able to, have her stay and you guys all be together and have a discussion about it. So thank you so much for sharing it. If you can go right back in to the audience, I appreciate you. And then we are going to have, if you haven't already, please hit up top streamer top badge Queen Bella with a favorite. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Mish.
Okay, so that was our first tale. That was our first Mejstory. And we are going to be joined by, I see next to the box, Jessica Rabbit, another sister on the app for me. Please give a warm welcome to
Hey.
the beautiful Jessica Rabbit. Jessica, please introduce yourself to us. Give a little bio on you and your journey here on the app, and then if you could jump right into your story, your pride story with us today. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm Jessica Rabbit. I'm a retired top badge for the Meet Me app. But we're back. I've been a streamer for about 2 years here. And my story with Pride is my son, because he is part of the LGBTQ community. He's 13. Um, and I really enjoy listening to Bella because how she said her parents knew. And I'm really proud that her mom's listening to her story accepted her and created an environment that she felt safe and accepted. Because my son, extremely gifted, wonderfully gifted, but from the very young age of 1 and 2 years old, he always had an affinity to stray away from what the boys were doing, and he wanted to dress like a fairy, and he wanted to wear pink, and he wanted to do not necessarily the feminine things, but he had no interest in what our area, which is South Louisiana, deems fit for a boy. And a lot of people have a problem with that. It's a lot of hate. It's a lot of bigotry. I feel like just recently we've kind of come along when it comes to accepting people who are different. But for the very beginning of his life, he's always faced excessive bullying from adults, from children, from school systems, his own father, calling him slurs. And he didn't understand, and he still doesn't, he didn't understand why. That's the issue. And that as a parent is hard when you're supposed to love your child and they're beautiful and they're wonderful. And for some reason, for something they were born with, that was evident, people hate them, you know. Um, so the biggest breakthrough with him, it finally accepting or stepping more into his skin. I'm divorced, so moving that along. I work in TV, and one of my best friends is the most flamboyantly glamorous person you could ever meet, and they call him Uncle Derek. And for the first time, he actually had someone who was kind of like him. We had him come for 4th of July. He came camping with us. And my son was just in awe that there was actually a representative that he could look to that was like him. And he was like, he's just wonderful. Oh my goodness. I am just so, he's amazing. And to see his face glow, like that's amazing to actually have people implement and be some form of a role model who have taken that path before. Um, Still, he's faced with, you know, a lot of people, and he doesn't know what he is. He's not going to, and that's fine. And there's no pressure. But I think it's just a lot of the back and forth with society because still boys and what have you, they make fun of him. I mean, but right now he's sporting pink hair. You know, he was always the cutie one. He looks just like me with short platinum hair or pink hair. You know, he's good enough to be a model. Amazing, amazing child, compassionate, caring, kind. And whenever people make fun of him, he's like, so what if I am? But now he has siblings and he has very masculine siblings, like rough and tumble, like siblings. And it's amazing to see them actually step up and stand in and take a stand against bigotry and hate even at such a young age. Because as a parent, you're you can only do so much in this world. They will face obstacles outside of you and beyond you that surpasses your reach. So I'm amazed at how times are changing, and it's encouraging to have a child step into his own skin and to have kids reinforce that also. That's amazing. So that's my story. It's not all that fancy. Um, but my kid's amazing. I sometimes post him on Instagram, so we can't have him here. But yeah, I didn't. Mej just found out. I just told Mej yesterday. I was like, yeah. um, Thank you guys.
Uh, Jessica, oh
Thank
my
you.
God, if you continued along, you started to really have those tears. I was about to be off camera and just have a good cry. An amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for your courage in sharing and you being so open and that
I'm so
your
proud.
child has yeah that your child has found a parent and has a parent that they can be open to such an early age because I definitely know how tough it is as being a gay child growing up knowing you're gay and you have to suppress all of your
Right.
true antics and
It causes
feelings.
depression. It's horrible
It
to see
is
them go
yeah,
through that.
it's a lot of pressure for a young child and a young developing mind. So
Right.
thank you so much for being you, and this is why I know that you are my family. You're my sister. I love you to pieces. Please rate in the audience. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Love you.
I love you. Okay. I don't know. These stories are really affecting me, and I'm more than glad. Bring it on. These are things that need to be heard. And that being said, please allow me to welcome another top streamer on the app. She goes by the name of Fiva Diva. And I'm going to allow her the opportunity to introduce herself, talk about her streaming schedule on the app, and then jump into her story. Thank you so much, Viva, for doing this and for being thank you so much for being an ally to us. I appreciate you, my angel.
Of course. Thank you for having me and even extending the invite. I'm Fiva Diva. I stream daily. I do have my featured show, Fine Arts with Fiva, that's Sundays at 5, and we talk about all things fine art, dance, music, or band, symphony, anything that falls in that umbrella. I definitely love to touch on. So I'm always looking for performers and people who are talented in that way. My story of becoming an ally kind of just starts with my own mental health journey. I can remember being diagnosed with postpartum depression and going to church and going up for prayer and having someone say to me, "Are you going to believe the doctor's report or what God said?" And it prevented me from going to get help because I felt like they're right. I should pray more. I should get more involved in church, and it'll make all of these things go away. So, fast forward, I'm in ministry, and our music minister, who had a paid position at a mega church where I live, finally felt comfortable enough to stand before the church and talk about his struggles with his identity and his sexual identity. And they kind of whisked him away right then and there off of the stage. He lost his job, and they told him to go get help. And when he got better, he could come back and rejoin like nothing had happened. I was also in ministry with someone who, you kind of know, but they're not talking about it. He had all the cover stories, but it just, okay, that makes sense, but it didn't sit right with me. And one day he performed at a mental health conference that I hosted, kind of talked about his journey with mental health through his mother, and within a year had finally found the courage to tell everyone that he was not only homosexual but married. We had never seen his husband in the years we had ministered together because he was afraid to say something. He was afraid if they found out, he wouldn't be able to do what he loved to do, which was worship and dance in the church. And I'm looking at someone I consider a friend, someone whose faith, I admired, because in his worst days, he struggled, you know, to be himself, but he wanted to be there to worship. And I'm looking at this and going, as difficult as it was for me with mental health struggles in the church, I'd never seen rejection like I had seen when you pretty much lose everything because you say you're struggling, because I'm not sure. And fast forward, I become an ordained minister, and I ask why, because that was never on the agenda. That wasn't a part of the plan, but it was said because you have something to offer people who don't care about checking boxes, meaning there comes a point where, as a Christian, love is the answer to everything. So no matter where you fall on the fence of what is right and got tired of doing it and just completely pushed away. And imagine what it would be like for someone who completely gets rejected and never comes back. Because I know what my faith has done for me, and I know what holding on to faith can do in a struggle such as a mental health crisis. So imagine not having that simply because you're afraid to be who you want to be and be who you feel like you are meant to be because someone pushed you aside for a choice or for something that they just don't agree with. Some people feel it's a choice, some people don't. And I don't know because I've never experienced it. And I'm okay with that, right? I can't tell Mej who he is, and I can't tell this person what they were born as. I can't tell anyone that. But I know that I'm supposed to love you no matter what. Because I may be that vessel for Mej to move forward and to become whoever God intends him to be. And if I reject him because he sins differently, you know, I am a mother of two. I have never been married. I am not abstinent. I curse, I drink, and sometimes I get drunk. But at no point have I stood before a church and explained that I had these issues and been pushed out. And for me, it was wrong. And it just didn't sit well with me. So that was the leading to becoming an ally and just understanding my job is to love everybody. And that's what I believe Pride stands for, is love. That's my story.
Thank you, Fever Diva. And I think they coined the phrase, love is love. And I think sometimes the true meaning of the word gets lost somewhere in the translation. It gets lost because some people expect some words to be loaded with a certain expectations and certain criteria and certain pressures and all these different things that rather than just let it be what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just love, just a good feeling, just an overwhelming burst of feeling to everyone. So thank you so much for sharing that beautiful story. And if anyone doesn't have Top Badge, Fever Diva favorited, please go ahead and do so right now. She has a lot of content in her stream. She does have a featured show. Please make sure we're following her journey and checking in on her as well. She needs all the love just like we do.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you so much
me.
for being an ally, my love.
Of course.
Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was your third storyteller for the evening. We should be having probably another one. I believe it's, if he's able to get into the streams, I need someone to check to see if he's able to get in the stream. Dalvin, yeah, I'm looking for Dalvin. Thank you, Giggle. We are looking for Dalvin. I know he was there earlier, but he was having a slight difficulty getting in. Let me see, he sent me a message. He was, all right, so let's see if he's probably having a little technical issue. And as I mentioned earlier, first of all, maybe I'll use this as a little bit of time as we're waiting for other guests or other storytellers to thank everyone. And I'll give a quick little shout out to Jessica Rabbit, also to Creature and Angie, my top three gifters of the stream. Please make sure that you have them all favorited. And we are waiting for our other storytellers. I know we were having a little issue earlier with, streamers getting onto the app. I myself had a few issues in getting on the app. So just probably the updates, there might be a little glitches. Yes, and why don't we go ahead and thank the three storytellers that were able to, uh, box up and share those amazing stories with us. It just goes to show that we have so many stories that of just our regular daily life that sometimes as a streamer, you don't get an opportunity to share. And because that's not what someone wants your content and your streams to be about. So what I will be offering is a chance for people, for streamers, to tell different types of tales they're going to be fun and exciting ones as well. This is just the Pride edition, being it's June month, and we wanted to have, you know, end of the month and leave with just a bunch of amazing stories. So I want to say thank you to the three streamers that participated, and I will double check to see if there's any other technical difficulties, because I don't want to just keep us dilly dallying around. Okay. 1 second. Let me just pop right back into my room. Yeah, I apologize. Okay, and I think that may just be our storytellers for today. So I want to thank all three of the storytellers that appeared today. That was Queen Bella, Fiva Diva, and Jessica Rabbit for sharing their, what I'll be coining them as, their Mejstory. And we were going to go into a brief little intermission of sorts while the judges are going to review the stories. And judges, if you can report to the group chat, and you can confer, and if there's any questions, then I will ask the judges to each jump up onto the into the box and give their feedback. Meanwhile, we can keep the comments flowing. Okay, let's check our group chat. Make sure all the judges are in there. The winner, there seemed to be a lot of deliberations, and a little song and dance, but that would be a little awkward to do. So, hi Stakes, how are you? Guys, welcome, welcome, welcome to Once Upon a Mejstory, where for the as far as the contents for the Mejstories, I will be providing a theme, and all of the storytellers are going to follow along with their part by creating a story that is going to have certain criteria. And I'll repeat. So if anyone is interested in participating as a storyteller, here are some of the things that you should know. To be a storyteller, your story should be related to the theme with concepts such as plot, narration, a protagonist, and or a antagonist. And they should all have some connected meaning with the theme. For example, what do these things mean? And examples as to why they are important. And for the contestants that are still in the audience, whoever is decided as the winner, we are going to ask you what inspired you to share this story. So if you want to think on it, the question that will be asked is, what inspired you to share this story? So bear that in mind as we have a few moments if you are the winner, you'll be asked that. Also, here are some of our judging critiques. The judges will be conducting their scoring based on the following: the plot narrative, which is the story content, and they'll also be looking at your props, your music, any sound effects, costuming, makeup, and also dramatic appeal, because we are known for our drama, darling. So hand gestures, eye contact, facial expressions, and there's actually going to be an overall winner bonus. So uh, anyone stands an amazing chance to be a winner here. And just there are no losing stories. It's just the person who has possibly told it the best. So we value and we appreciate everyone uh, taking their time and energies to be able to give their feedback. Okay, so I am alrighty then. Okay, it seems that the results are in. I'm going to have both judges be boxed up together and they will give their feedback, and then um, we will announce a winner.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Judges, we have the beautiful Bay Assassin and Miss Kitty Meow herself. So, judges, I am for this because I'm torn. I would say they're all winners. So I'm gonna go and give it over to either one of you if you guys want to give your feedback based on what you're supposed to judge on, and then if you can just one of you can just announce the winner for us.
Okay, the winner for me and Katie Commander, what we based it upon. Me, I can't really speak for her, but we both decided on Jessica Rabbit as the winner. Um, I really connected with her story. I connected in, ways that, having her son be accepted and just people being very stereotypical and just, judging based on who they are, because that's what my sister been through growing up, and I saw her struggles, struggling and having to like hide herself and not be herself because of people's judgment. And I saw what my sister went through. She would drink, and she would be so frustrated and stressed out, and I'll be the one, who she's my best friend. I'm the one who's always there for her and saw her struggles through that. And seeing the diversity now, and how, and especially how she is now, like she don't really care, like, this is me, accept me for who I am. And what I love about that is, how my parents accepted her for who she is, and not being judgmental, and loving her and just embracing her. And she knows that, us one as a family, we got her back, you know. So
Looks like the judge might be a storyteller herself. So we should have had
sorry.
the judge
sorry.
as a storyteller.
I'm sorry.
I think the
I'm
judge should
sorry.
have been a storyteller. I'm like, me too. I was like, yeah, I should be a judge and be like the main judge and throw Bay Assassin into the mix and have her judge too.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
That's okay. Kitty?
Yeah, obviously, Jessica Rabbit was my favorite of the three stories. Mostly, like, I echo the sentiment. Top Badge Bay Assassin says that I felt connected to this story, and on a personal level. My daughter is bisexual. I felt connected to. I can understand that struggle from not a personal perspective of a youth, but my daughter is a youth and she's struggling, and so I felt a very strong connection to that story and how hard it is as a parent, and I love that. So I felt a very strong connection on that. I also loved, Queen Bella's story about the girlfriend, and how courageous, how fantastic. I mean, everybody got everybody got threes in the narrative and the plot section for me. The content on these stories were incredible. So everybody got threes. That was so dramatic and courageous and such a defining moment for Queen Bella. And
Yes.
what a vulnerable place for you to share that with us. And thank you for sharing it with us. You didn't really have any props or sound effects or music or anything to go with it. So, I couldn't give you any points in that area, I felt like. But the dramatic appeal, I loved your eye. Give me eyes, you gave me good eyes. You gave me good
Give
eyes.
me.
And I was like, yes, these eyes. She's got gorgeous eyes. Queen Bella's got gorgeous eyes,
Very beautiful.
I was like, whoo, okay. Put those eyes down for a second. All right. And then Viva Diva, I love this story about love. Love is love, period. And it doesn't matter what your belief set should be or how you reflect that. I loved the narrative of this story. I love how she told it from her perspective. It's a very vulnerable place to share a story that includes your perspective and how you experience somebody else's basically coming out moment in a larger way, especially in a religious setting. This is incredibly difficult. I can only imagine the dynamics that you had to work through. And I thought the content on the story was incredible. Once again, no really any props or anything, but you gave us good eyes too. Gave us good eyes, and you had good lips. I mean, I was like, these lips are incredible. Okay. So,
Yes.
but let me go back to Jessica, just 1 second on the one that I rated just a little bit higher. You didn't really have any props either, Jessica. It's just that your story literally kind of brought tears to my eyes, and that is where I went with my heart. I could see you tearing up, so the dramatic appeal piece of it was higher because for me, it was drawing that emotion out of me. And that is what storytelling does. Like, it either makes you laugh or cry or feel something connected. And so for me, that is the reason why you had that extra little bit. You did a lot of hand gesturing. You were good with the hand gesturing. As well, and you kept eye contact with the screen as well. So I was paying attention to these little bit more technicality issues when trying to judge, to make sure I'm judging fairly with everybody. Everybody's story was incredible, though.
And
Right.
respectfully, whatever she said, yeah, I second that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. I connected with all three stories, really, so I really connected with all of them because it's all the same, like not the same, but similarities with what my sister went through, so
Right. And I'm glad, what, I think we've said it already, but what courage it takes to share these types of intimate stories. Bay talking about her sister, Kitty talking about her daughter, Jessica talking about her son, and then you also have Queen Bella sharing, her first, experience with her family. These are intimate stories. You don't realize and grasp how much we are letting you into our world and giving you a piece of our personable self. So I want to thank everyone, including my judges and, of course, all of the storytellers. And I want to thank everyone in the audience for joining us for these conversations, because sometimes people want to hear them and sometimes people don't want to be bothered. And I understand that and I respect that. So thank you to everyone. If you stand as an ally, if you stand as part of the community, thank you for being here and just being part of our conversation regarding pride. And I appreciate and I love you all to pieces. Thank you so much. And I'll just hear it one more time. I believe you said Jessica winner was declared unanimously the winner. So I'm going to exit the judges out of the boxes. If you guys can please hit them up at favorite. Top badge loading. Kitty Commander, and
Thank
Top
you, thank you,
Badge,
thank you.
Bay Assassin. Please hit them up at favorites, my
Thank you
darlings.
for having me.
I love you,
Appreciate you. I
darling.
love you, Midge. I love
Love you,
y'all,
baby.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so please, everyone, join me with clapping and celebrating, and of course, you can gift her too. But please welcome, please request the box, Jessica Rabbit.
Hey
I'll
guys.
go on the side because
Oh,
Jessica. And
wow.
yeah, don't make me cry again. We're
I
not doing
kind of
tears.
wish
We're
that
not
he
doing
was
tears.
18 so he could be a part of this, but I'll tell him about it and he's
Okay,
gonna be
because
happy.
this
I'm so
is going to
happy.
be recorded and sent to Chris, and I don't think it's the best moment if we're both crying and sending him. It's going to be
Yeah.
hard. So thank you, congratulations, thank you. I love you to pieces. You already know this. So the question that we are going to be asking all of, and you may have said it already, but it's a question that we have to ask. As the winner, you are to tell us what inspired you to share this story.
I think whenever you can see someone so very dear to you in your heart be so dramatically affected um, by something that is completely out of their control. I know that that's a argument for many, but I saw firsthand from birth that this was who my child was. And a beautiful, wonderful, vibrant, loving, positive soul that just loved life. And people made that difficult. People made that ugly. People perverted that. He didn't pervert that. He was this not of his fault. He's not faulted for that. And I think from seeing such how harshly he was met by everyone, family, people who should protect him, shunning him, making horrible things saying to him. And he too young to even understand what those things were, you know. Um, so to see and know and feel so I was a devout Christian at that time. 17 years, non-denominational extremist. I would beat you with the Bible. When I had my son, I did what she said, and I felt that. You love. It's not our place to judge. Love. That's how you bring people. You show love. You accept people. It's not the perfect ones. It's all of us. We're imperfect. And so I fought tooth and nail for my son then. It was ugly. Anyone had anything nasty to say, and they deal with Mama Bear. Family cut off. I didn't care. Dad, all of it, all of it. Just I would not allow my son to feel like he did not have a place that he could be safe. But some people don't have that. And I know that my son's situation is singular, but it's not. It's within a sea of other people with genuine and unique singular occurrences for themselves. It's a personalized situation. There's different and there's different situations and variations for every single person that walks on this path. And so I'm open to it. I met you, I met our sister Island. And I would always say, forgive my ignorance. I don't know what this may be, but I'm willing to learn. I may not know this other variation or this other branch of this group of amazing humans, but I'm willing to learn because I will always be an ally. And there's so many people, and they don't always have that. Suicide is very, very high for people who were born amazing, and it's because people try to stifle their light, and some people have been snuffed out, and I don't want anyone to be snuffed out. You know, I know for my son, like just going into school, hitting puberty, like that was a very, even though I'm accepting, that was a real thing. To have an 11-year-old at that time contemplate suicide because society is cruel, and he had people defending him. A lot of people don't, and they feel I couldn't even begin to imagine. I just saw a glimpse of that, So to step up, even if you don't understand it, you don't have to understand it. No one has to understand it. You should just respect a person and love them for just being a person. You don't have to understand the ins and outs, all of the ups and downs. You don't have to. That's not the point. It's to respect that person without understanding. And I believe firmly in that. I backed Island, you, everyone. I mean, and I don't ever want to be offensive. Sometimes I don't know how to necessarily address people. I don't know how, and forgive me for that. I'm ignorant, and I admit that, and many people are. But as long as in our ignorance we can admit that and be open to learn and to
Absolutely.
change and to grow and to evolve, we can make it better. It doesn't have to be where 11-year-olds want to commit suicide, or
I agree.
adults want to commit suicide, or someone's homeless because they were shunned from their community or kicked out of a church. It shouldn't be that. It should never be
Especially
that.
in this day and age. I believe that we should be making strides forward, not backwards.
Correct.
So thank you for that. And you know what? I'm hopeful that your story and you sharing that, and someone is listening in the background, or someone has recorded and somehow this gets out, that any parent who may have been undecided about how they should communicate with their child, that this something is resonating with them, to
Mm.
so they can have a different approach, so
Right.
they can feel as a parent, because sometimes they don't know how to approach their child or what comes to child.
No
Sometimes
one
it's
knows how to
looking,
approach it.
yeah,
No one.
sometimes we have to share our approach, and then the person said, well,
When
we
we
got
would
it.
breach, like, approach the topic, we're all clueless. We don't know. But that's just like me being like, I mean, I'm not all the way straight, but my preference, it's just automatic. I don't know how to explain it. No one truly knows how, but we're not under a lens either. Whereas when these kids are growing up, it's not that he was taught this. Again, mind you, like, this is Cajun country, this is Russell alligator country, like, this is burly grizzly man country. Like, my son was like the anti Cajun. He was just all the things that every man would just scream in their boots about, okay, and freak out. And it wasn't because I was the mom raising him. He just didn't, he wasn't interested. It wasn't his thing, and that's okay. But as for when he got older, he didn't know how to breach the topic. I didn't know how to. Um, it was kind of like, Mom, um, they say I'm gay, and I'm like, okay, and so what if you are? I love you. Okay. So what? So, oh, okay. I curse a little bit. I'm like, fuck what they say. Like, fuck what they say. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't care either. Like, that's just how I said it. Like, open. I will back you. I will defend you, and everything else is irrelevant. Period. So, and that's how we talked. We didn't know how to breach the topic. We still don't know how. It just is what it is. It's just he's just his own person, just as everyone else is, and everyone else is entitled to be able to have a peaceful life, and it should be ensured and encouraged. No one should feel shame because of how they are and who they are in here. It's not what you look like, what you do. It's who's inside. But that has also taught him to be kind to all walks, like minor. I mean, we're the South, and it is what it is, but minorities of all kinds. He waits for everyone to get on the bus. He's the last one on. He is the most courteous and chivalrous child, in spite of all of this, because he knows how to be in his own right, a protected class. He knows that opposition. So bad things do happen, but it's so that it's because you have a greater purpose. It does.
Absolutely will. Thank you again, and congratulations. The what you're winning, the winner gets is our hearts and our love, and hopefully tons of favorites. I appreciate you, my sister, and I'm so glad to see you back on the app. So you're one of my hearts on here. So you're one of the energy sources that I have as well. So I appreciate you taking your time. Please give your son a big old hug from us, and tell him that we love him, we accept him, and we always will. So
Absolutely.
more of
He
that
loves you.
coming.
He watches you. He's like, oh my gosh, he's amazing.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to edit some of the language. You're gonna have to edit some of the
No,
language.
no, no, no. I'm his mama. Come on now. I'm Cajun. I see all that. That's like our second language, cursing.
Okay,
So
okay, good.
you don't have to edit anything.
All right.
Okay. You have a blessed
Love you
one.
to
Love
pieces.
you.
I love you. Thank you guys. If you have not already, please hit the favorite on I was about to say she is possibly going to go right back to get her top badge merit, but please make sure we are thanking Jessica Rabbit and hitting her up with a favorite. Go follow her stream. Thank you. Once again, I'm going to repeat some of the guidelines. This you have been watching is called Once Upon a Mystery. And we are going to be following this up with a new theme that is still to be decided. But if anyone in here think they've got some, storytelling tales, please hit up one of the admins or myself directly to let me know that you'd like to be part of my next upcoming show. It is S. She's right there in the audience. There's also, he goes by Measures Admin, but is Zero Gravity, or myself. They are the three involved in helping to organize and keep this show running. So he goes as Measures Admin, he's Zero Gravity, and also there is S. She should still be in the audience. I saw her waving a little while ago. She multitasks. She's really quick, and and there she is. Hands up already. So please make sure that you hit them up. And I'm going to repeat one more time. If you have a story to share related to an upcoming theme that we will be announcing, and I will try to post that as soon as possible, please contact one of our admins. And to be a storyteller, your story should, one, be related to the theme with concepts such as plot, narration, a protagonist and or an antagonist, have some connected meaning with the theme. For example, what do these things mean? Give examples and why they are important. Your story should be somewhere between 5 to 7 minutes. So if you think you have a great story that you want to tell, please, this is going to be an amazing experience for both of us. Who doesn't love a good little story? And it is a great way to find out more about a streamer here on the app, and possibly get some more people to see you. So please, 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 if you're interested, please get a hold of us and let your story be told. This should never be the end. So once again, big congratulations to Jessica Rabbit for being our first winner of Once Upon a Mejstory. And I will try to give more additional details whenever necessary. And a big, big thank you to my 3 top gifters of the stream, Jessica Rabbit, Angie, and Creature. Thank you so much for supporting the streams, along with every single person still in here. I don't want to be the person hitting that button and checking gifters and ending my stream. I would like to also thank my admins, and that would be S and Zero Gravity. I would also further like to thank all of the judges that appeared this evening. That would be Kitty Commander, top badge loading for her, and top badge Bay Assassin. Also, I would like to thank the 3 storytellers, Jessica Rabbit, Thiva Diva, who is a top streamer, and also another top streamer, Queen Bella, for coming forward and sharing their stories with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love to you all. And I believe that is it, my darlings. All right, that's it for Pride. I was thinking of sharing one of my stories, but I'm thinking it might be a little too spicy for the real. And Emoji J is probably going to edit all of my work and said, "Oh no, cross it out, too much." So So maybe next time we'll get a story from me, and maybe yes. Am I gonna get judged as well? Those Georges seem like they were, hard cookies to crack, and especially Jay. Yeah, you'll know if I make it onto the script if I find myself not included. I didn't hear him say that. He said he'll judge me. So it's a little nerve wracking. Emoji J makes me nervous. So yeah, I think I'll hold on to my story for another time. All right, how are we doing for time? Are we still recording? 5 more minutes. Time for the entertaining story. Do a dance. Sing a song. Sing. Kitty, we did start a bit late. The app was having just a little trouble getting us all signed in, but you know what? We're troopers. This is not our first rodeo. So we should, a prideful song. Okay, so apart from my other, glamorous stories, and I do have quite a few, I'm gonna actually tell you one of my stories. Let me do that. We have 5 more minutes, and I'll keep it as brief as possible. So my coming out story. My sit down hash out coming out story happened when it was a buildup of, I come from a culture that there's a bit of a ranging if you don't see your child, dating, and everyone wants to play matchmaker. I come from a clan of sorts, and they're generational folks. Even though, we're here, they want to have a little bit of a matchmaking. And, I felt all alone. I had not come out to anyone. And it was difficult because in my family, on both my parents' side, everyone is just, strongly, straight. And there was no room for, curiosity. And any person that you heard of who could possibly be to that inclination was always talked of in, oh my God, can you believe it? Not that person's child. And they were quickly ostracized. And so there was a scare. I walked different, I talked different, I acted different, to the point that it affected how I performed in school. It affected so much of my life because I could not do very well because I stood out. And I felt if I got higher marks or I did exceptionally well and I had a great intellect, that I would stand out and then everyone would really zone in. So I always played middle of the barrel, and never wanted too much to be, set too much out of, the boundaries. But so my parents and their friends were always asking them, so does your son have a girl? Who's he dating? Because everybody wants to be kiki. They want to know whose child is with who and that kind of stuff. And that led to a very good friend of my mom has a daughter. And I was, pretty much told by my mom, you need to go out with her. Take her out. She's a really nice girl. She comes from a good family. Her mom and my mom, they're all best of friends from forever since we were knee high to a grasshopper. So I had to take this girl out, and I found myself in a bit of a quandary. What do I do? What do I say? Do I like what was happening? So I'm busy trying to watch shows, and I'm trying to set myself up for a date with a girl. And I I took her out. We had a nice time. It was awkward for me. I was sweating. I was uncomfortable. I didn't really know what to say. My tone, I was doing my best to sound like Butch. And, you know, I was hoping that she didn't really pick up. I was like, my hands were down by my legs the whole time because I couldn't do any of my, my lovely gesticulations. So I did a lot of not talk too much, but ask a bunch of questions. We ordered a lot of food. I ordered, definitely alcohol. We were drinking, and I was trying, and she's like, "Oh no, I don't want anything to." Okay, then we go into that voice, but she didn't want to have anything to drink, and so I was busy throwing them back, which should not have been the best. And then I remember taking her home, and she kind of wanted to make out, and it was, I was, I gave her, I think, a kiss on the cheek because I was trying to be gentlemanly and not do anything, too much in excess. And that lasted for a couple of weeks. And she was always calling and texting. She thought, like we were a couple. And it somehow got into her parents' head and my parents' head, and they had a tete-a-tete. And it was decided, hey, Trista, hi, Giggles, hi, everybody who's joined my room. Karina, I saw your comment earlier. It was decided that we should get married. So my mother sat me down and said, well, it was over a few dates. It was a couple of months in, and they were just anxious because, I'm lying and saying, oh, she is lovely and she's wonderful. And, the girl was probably just, happy to be off the shelf teasing. Nice young lady. And I'm not going to diminish her. She was very lovely. And I was around, I don't know, 20. I don't think I even hit 21 yet. And right on the show, gotta get him. So it was my mom who sat down with me, and she was saying things like, hey, well, what do you think about this gal? And yeah, it was several months, and my mom sat down with me and said, well, we like her, and her parents approve of you. They know we came from a good home, and she came from a very good home as well. And we want to make this a match, and we think that maybe you guys should get engaged. What do you think about, all these different kind of stuff? And I don't know, I think it was, I have to be in my 20s. I blocked a lot of it out because it was just too much. But then, yeah, they were staring us down the lines of, hooking up. This is what they like joining families. And my mom was telling me, oh, that I don't think they expected us to get married the next day, but they wanted definitely an engagement. They wanted us to be, so they can have these celebrations and have all these different things. And my mom is talking all this stuff. And I just remember crying. I remember just crying, and then that I couldn't stop. I just couldn't stop crying. I couldn't get the words out. I was overwhelmed. It was so much built up. It was so much of an act. It was, the words couldn't come out. All I could do was just cry. And I just remember crying and crying. And my mother is just like as confused as ever as, why are you crying? Like she wasn't sure I was happy, but I was just crying, and everything, it just flooded. And when I was done, I just said, I cannot do this. I just can't do it. And I can't do it to myself anymore. And I'm just going to come out and tell you I am gay. And then my mother starts to cry. and I was still crying, and then she did come over and she hugged me, and we didn't speak. I left, and we followed up our conversation, and then she went into the, oh my God, who knows? I think it was her setback, after she had the chance to think about it and the emotions were out and we'd left. That the next time we spoke, um, that she did say, well, who knows? And who knows? And oh my God, what do we tell uh, the family? And oh, don't tell your father. Your father's gonna freak out. Your father. Oh, oh my God! And she went into like panic mode about how everyone would think. And unlike Jessica, her take on it was, well, we don't care. We're just gonna fight it, and this is what it was. My mother took a different approach. It was, she preferred that I continued to hide it. So she was happy when I did not go to family events. I didn't go to weddings. I barely made it to funerals just to show my face. And my mother was the happiest. And she did not want me, she still doesn't like it when I'm vocal about gay issues. She's honest, and she tries to be as understand as she can, but this is still not faring and sitting very well with them. I am who I am. But I don't do this. I don't have my glam self. But they, you know, I talk the same. I don't put on anything. They know I'm not, um, and I've never introduced a lover to them. But that's why sometimes I'm very careful and cautious who I introduce my parents, even friends of mine. I'm very careful who I introduce to my parents, and I never like to disrespect their home. I know that this is not something that is, kosher with them. They're not one of those. I'll be there in the picket, with the signs and going to battle for you. I know that's never going to happen, and I'm okay with that. I've come to terms with that. It's still okay for me, but I am still living my truth. And it's the most interesting thing is that some of the guys I've dated, they've come over as friends, or like we've gone out with my parents, or they were around, like when I've had celebrations, they were there, and my parents love them. My parents love all my friends. They know, because you know what, I usually have a lot of amazing people around me that are just beautiful, so it's hard for people not to really like them. I do have, people don't realize this, I do have a, outside of the streaming world, I have some amazing friends that drop of a hat would pretty much do anything for me. And so my parents have seen that, and they know how I am with people. So if I told them and it came out and I said, oh, remember that guy? Yeah, yeah, that was my man. I think they would just pee themselves silly. But I just wanted to share that with you, that I was, set up for a matchmaking of sorts. And then I did stop calling the person, and then my mom, I think, did her, um, you know, putting the little band-aids on, talking to her friend about, maybe this is not the best time right now for us to be dating, and that my son is focusing in college, and he's trying to get a lot of those, and maybe we'll let these kids just be by themselves. And so it went from hot and sweaty that both my mom and her mom were calling each other all the time. Oh my God, did they call each other? Did they do this? And they were all, they had our lives planned out, because they come from that same situation. They've come from that. That's what they knew. My grandparents were actually match made. My grandparents, my mom parents. So this was something, yeah, it was arranged, that my grandfather actually went to go see And as history had it, it was actually someone else who had her eyes, my mother's cousin, my grandmother's cousin, who had her eyes on my grandfather because he was tall and very handsome. And she had her eyes, but when he'd gone to see, you know, to enter the home, he ended up liking taking a chance on my grandmother. And she liked to say that, you know, she was a good old virgin when he got her. So yeah, that wouldn't be my tale. But so they come from this. So my mother understood that a lot of her brothers and sisters were, you know, and family members, a lot of stuff was arranged. So Whitty, thank you. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting the stream. I really appreciate all of you. I love you to pieces. But that's my story. And I know for editing purposes that I think Jay has all he needs to get. Chris, thank you for the favorite. I appreciate that. And great job on the intro emoji, Jay. Hi, Miley. Chris. Hi, Amelia. Giggle Fritz, I see you. You are a person of your